Hey guys, welcome to the Gauntlet. I am your new host because someone got fired, Nova Burst, and we have our lovely host right here, JT right there, and the previous host of the Gauntlet, who is now currently shunned, Captain Zeus.
I'm shunned.
Yeah, he's not going to show himself because
I am a disgrace to my family.
you know who else is a disgrace? Houston. But we'll get to that later today. So we have the results of week 25 of the Overwatch League. And I mean this week went kind of as planned. We did have a lot of upsets. Shangdu. Hey, you guys put in work. Okay, you might hear that a lot actually, just random crying. But don't worry about it. I'm still here. JT, we're still here.
I'm in a great mood today, by the way, because like almost every prediction of mine came true.
Oh yeah, you're probably feeling great right now.
I made some ballsy predictions, and almost all of them came true.
So we're gonna start this off Friday. We had Atlanta versus Boston, and as expected, Atlanta winning 3-1, but Boston did take a game. How do you feel about that, JT?
Pretty satisfied with that. Like, all right, they lost a game to a team I don't think they prepped for, so you know I'll accept the loss. Even if they would have taken 2 losses, I would have accepted it. But
yeah, I feel like we expected Atlanta to win, but we just always put in Boston just win one game. That's all we ask, because this is not your year. Just wait till next year. Get some better players.
Boston just needs something to build on, right? They just need some wins to build on for next year.
Basically.
So, if they win 1 game or 2 games a set, all right, that's all we can ask for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Zeus.
Yeah.
Guess what?
No.
Florida got wrecked.
Yeah. So we had San Francisco winning against Florida Mayhem in a 3-1 fashion. I mean, at least Florida did take a game.
A pity game.
Pity game, I guess. But, I mean, it was as expected. San Francisco still looking like a top team here in the league against Florida, who I still don't trust with anything. But, yeah, Florida taking it now against San Fran.
Florida.
So far, I'm 100% in my predictions.
I need Florida to step it up, please. Guys, I'm running on fumes here.
I just want to point it out. 100%.
100%. But don't worry, it gets better. It gets really better. So not only did Florida lose, we also had one of Captain Zeus's another team he really likes, Seoul Dynasty, losing to Chengdu Hunters 3-2. Went to a game 5. I mean,
dude, I knew the Hunters were going to win out. I called this is going to be a game 5. I knew it. Seoul was looking too good, and I knew they were going to fall apart. I knew it.
Well, I mean, really good job to Chengdu. Really stepped it up this week. I mean, we always look down on them as probably the bottom tier for the Asian League specifically, or Pacific. But I mean, so I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know if they're just trying to chill out right now and then wait till the big tournament comes up. But I mean, I don't know. So you keep on losing the games like this to teams that you shouldn't lose to.
Am I a joke to you guys?
Yes, you are.
Is my existence a joke to all of my favorite teams?
Yes, they don't care about you, and they're garbage.
You literally, your voice was so high, it literally just pitched out, and you couldn't hear it.
Zoom was like, no, we can't have that.
You can't register that, dude. We can't register that.
No one wants to hear that noise, so they took it away.
We have some good news for Captain Zeus. We had Shanghai Dragons winning 3-2 against London Spitfire. It did go to a game 5. I personally wanted London to win, but I mean, still, they took the Shanghai to a game 5. I mean, Shanghai, we consider probably top team in the Pacific League or region. So I'm really proud of London, even though they did lose. But I mean, how do you guys feel about this?
I was pretty satisfied that I could get a dub going out.
Was that the only one of the weekend for you?
I'm pretty satisfied about how Shanghai did. They did pretty good. London did as I expected them to. I knew they're gonna take at least a map off. In my heart, I knew they're gonna bring it to a game 5 because they are a pretty good team considering the rookies that they have on there. And they always like to bring in the distance, no matter which Asian team they go up against. So it was pretty good to see them, show that they got some, spark left in them, and it was a good match. I'm just proud of the victory.
I'm pretty satisfied with your answer there because you kind of sound like Coach Belichick when they lose a game. On to Cincinnati. Yeah, we're on to Cincinnati. Okay. Thanks for the information there. Good job, London. Really, that's like the story to me. Taking 2 games, probably the best team in the league. If not, it's arguable, but
top 2 at least.
I say one of the best teams. So good job, London, considering they're in, we've said it a lot, the murderer's row of people. They're the second worst team, but they're playing only top 5 teams. So it's pretty good.
I mean, as long as they didn't get steamrolled 3-0, against Flooded Meta, I was fine with that. So good job, London. Good job, Shanghai.
The way all of you get wrecked, because I called this one too. 3-0, New York. Wreck charge. Did I not tell you? Did I not tell you this was going to be a 3-0?
Yes, you did. I mean, we do. We got to give JT where credit is due.
This whole weekend is giving JT credit.
I called almost every match, and I picked some dumb teams that shouldn't have won because I just had an inkling they were going to.
You should have made some bets, man. This was your week.
I should have. I could have made millions. I picked like the underdog in every match almost. I don't know. This just New York couldn't have lost another one, or else it would have been really, really bad for their team. And I really do think them and Haskell have had enough time together that it's going to be, a different story for the team. And it pretty much like proved the point. I don't think Charge was in tip-top shape to play them, but I mean, I think it's going to be a close match next time they play. I still think New York has the edge in this matchup.
So I was expecting Charge to win. We went back saying like these previous tournaments, Charge would just clean out New York, no problem. But I mean, seeing the results actually 3-0, I mean, this actually kind of makes me excited for New York because this just shows that like if they would have lost to Charge actually in this week, I would have been like, no doubt in my mind, if New York goes against Charge anytime, they're just gonna lose. But this right here shows that New York still has some competitiveness in them. And I mean, so if they did happen to go up against Charge in end of the season tournament, I mean, this could actually be a brawl. I would love to see it go to game 5 and not just be clean sweeps between both of these teams. But I mean, this just shows that New York still has fire in them, and
they're still a top team.
Yeah,
they needed this win to keep them in the argument of a top 4 team, top 3 team. So they needed this win desperately, and they needed a win for Haskell on a big stage. They have some growing pains, like no one's saying they're not. I've never said that. Like they have some issues, and they need to work through them. So this is a good stepping stone for that, and it's a good time for the win because we're coming up on the tournament.
Good stepping stone. Good
down,
Okay,
get wrecked. Vancouver just get smacked. Do we ever want to talk about this? Does anyone care?
I felt so bad for Vancouver.
We'll bring it up. We'll bring it up for the Vancouver fans. So we do. I don't know why.
What fans?
Bring it up.
They all with their team.
Did anyone else see Slime's tweet saying "lol get wrecked"?
No.
Yes.
Well,
That man, he straight up tweeted getting wrecked to Vancouver, and I was like, wow, that is just wow.
yeah, San Francisco is a very. I mean, whenever I go on Twitter, I just see memes and just San Francisco memes all the time, like just joking with against other teams. I mean, San Francisco got some balls on them, definitely, and I mean they have the stuff to prove it. I mean, they're winning games in a dominant fashion, so.
I think whoever does the social medias for the Overwatch League teams are hilarious people.
Oh yeah, really good. Top quality memes.
Sorry, Vancouver, that you guys are trash. I was watching your game, and
Not the worst though.
Shockwave, for some reason, on what was it, Temple of Anubis, it was in the middle of a firefight where they basically lost, and then he duplicates on his echo, and all I hear is Breadcast goes, "Why did this man just duplicate? Was he trying to save the battle? It's already over." And I'm like, this man just wasted his ult. It's like one of those freaking matchmaking games against like gold and bronze tier people.
Okay, well, let me just throw this out here, right? Vancouver is a bad team. Do we all agree with that?
Really bad.
But Vancouver is not the worst team. Do we agree with that?
No, I still think they're the worst team.
No, there's no way
No,
they have big wins.
I don't think they're the worst.
Houston
honestly.
and Boston have big wins, but it doesn't mean that they're any better or worse.
I think Vancouver could take
But
Boston.
Vancouver's beat all of them.
No, they haven't. They
They
didn't beat Houston.
No, but they beat Washington and Boston.
Okay,
So-
yeah, that's true.
They're not the worst, right?
No, I
They're
don't think they're the
not
worst.
even a. They weren't even a professional team 6 months ago. So
They were,
like,
yeah,
that shows you how
contenders.
bad the bottom of the league is currently. Like they're suffering.
It also shows you the contenders. They have a whole contender squad, and the gap in skill, and not only in skill and experience, but just in general, is huge between the actual Overwatch
I don't
League
think. I don't think
players.
that's true though, because that contenders team was dominant, like the most dominant contenders team.
And yet, look how they're faring against.
So
The
that just
whole
means
league.
there is a big skill gap.
That's what I was saying.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying.
No, that's what I was saying. I was saying
I
that there's
thought
a
you were
huge
saying there
skill
wasn't
gap.
a big skill gap, and I was like, no. I think there is actually a ginormous skill gap between.
No, that's not what I meant to say.
Okay, my fault. I
You're
misunderstood. I was like, wait a minute.
It's because I'm shunned, so you can't read my lips.
I can't
Gotcha,
watch your
gotcha.
beautiful lips.
You can't, no new taxes. Anyways,
Next
real quick,
game.
Florida took
Oh,
an easy dub on Washington. Thanks, guys.
Wasn't a match.
It was
Honestly, not.
just as good as the San Francisco Vancouver. Take the dub, redeem yourself a little bit. Let's move on to the next one.
Same with Dallas.
They have to play the games. They just have to.
Yeah, the bottom teams, they're just doing it for participation.
Reel it in,
rewards.
baby.
Participation.
Boston's just taking one map off of everyone they play against.
I feel like they could kill any team we wanted to. They're just like, we'll take one and let you guys win, but we could destroy you at any
This
moment.
point, I believe it because they beat some top teams out of nowhere, and then they'll just go lose. And I'm like, where was this hype from like last week or a couple weeks ago?
Well, it's because nobody is preparing for them at all. Like no
Yeah.
one's taking any time. So if they have like some surprise anything
Hidden
or any like
juices.
surprise aggressiveness, like teams aren't ready for it.
They're just
And they're not like garbage players. Like they're so good, but they're just not a good team.
We've also given up.
Yeah, they're
But
trying to
yeah,
pull
it
an
was an
NBA
easy win
draft
for
right
Dallas.
here. Just
An easy win.
lose and get good players at the end.
Jerry, go to Houston.
No, you don't need to.
I need Jerry.
No, don't. You don't need to. You're good.
Or go to Seoul.
Um,
We'll take you on either.
You know what? He doesn't need that too. He doesn't need a bipolar team to be playing with.
All teams are bipolar when they're not in the
No.
top 10.
No, Soul is so bipolar. Soul is Kanye West.
Oh my god.
Bipolar.
No, that is a great reference.
Oh.
That is a great reference. Thank you.
Dude, honestly, that
Oh
is
my
the perfect
gosh,
fit.
that was low key amazing.
Wow. So an actual
Next
good
game.
game.
Oh yeah, thank you. Next game, please. Philadelphia versus Los Angeles Gladiators. I actually went to the game 5. Philadelphia did win 3-2. I think it was a good matchup.
I do too. I think it was a good showmanship. Good job from LAG. They showed, they can still hang with the big boys. So good job. I also called that it was going to be a 3-2. So, pat on my back again. Nobody. Everyone was saying a 3-0, 3-1.
I said 3-1, possibly.
Yeah, I was feeling a 3-1. I didn't think Gladiators really had it.
They had to. They had to get 3-2 or a win. Like they had to do it to keep their spot.
Because you see that, and then again, which we're going to get to later, Gladiators just get their clock cleaned out by Paris.
Spank.
I mean, Spike, but Paris.
That's a bad matchup, though.
Yeah, we'll get to it later.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. But Philadelphia, still pulling in the dubs that they need, so that's good for them. Good job for Gladiators, though, keeping it close. Though honestly, I didn't expect for them to win 2 games. So good on you, Gladiators, even though you did not win any of the games this week.
I think it shows Fusion's got some kinks in their armor, though, to let that happen from like a lower top 10, arguably like 11 or 12, depending on opinions.
No, they're number 10. Like
depending on opinions,
they're the most 10 team ever.
Okay,
they don't have enough firepower to be any higher.
That is true. They cannot go any higher than 10. But anyways, I think it just shows
it's impossible.
That Fusions needs to. They have some work that they need to work out on their side because they let a low team, be able to take it to a game 5. It's not like it's Paris. It's not like it's San
top
Fran,
10
anything
team.
Like that. But it's a lower 10 team. So it's good for LA to show that they have a fighting chance against these top teams. It's not that good for Fusions because it shows there's weaknesses that not only can the top 10, but possibly, top 12 or 13 teams could.
God, you were reading too far into that.
I'm just saying
this is exactly the result we should have seen.
Maybe Fusion just has a kink of letting teams think they're going to win and then just beat them. Maybe that's the kink in Fusion.
God.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like, yeah.
So let's talk about Sparks and Hunters.
Okay, Sparks? This one was actually really disappointing. Yes, you can.
Okay. I think you're going to be happy about this, by the way. Well, kind of. I think London is not the second worst team. I think Spark's the second worst team. I think it's Hunter, Spark, London. And the Asian region. I think London has proven that they're better.
I've been saying that for a while, but yeah.
I don't know, man.
Spark's too inconsistent.
How can you pull huge
Be quiet, soul.
wins?
Hey. Shut it, you.
How can they just pull big wins and then just take L's?
They're the Boston of the Asian region.
Big L's, by the way, 3-0. I mean,
no, they're not.
It's a real love and hate relationship with you guys. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I can't even rely on you guys in tournaments because I know you guys aren't consistent, but at the same time, I know you have that potential, but you're slacking, and so
that's why I don't use them in my fantasy.
That's why you lose. So good job, Shangdu. Spark, go to your room and think about what you've done.
Is this a surprise to anyone this next matchup?
No, not at all.
No.
Seoul is so inconsistent. I'm not surprised they got whooped by a consistent team.
And Shanghai's, the top team in the league, in my opinion. Maybe even top 2, depending on, what your matchup is.
Depending on what you value in a team.
Yeah, I could see that, Shanghai Paris. But Shanghai is definitely one of the best teams in the entire league. So them 3-0ing Seoul, who's been on a decline ever since, right before the Melee.
That's true, though. I don't think they're on a decline. I don't think they ever had. They're just like a sporadic. They're like 0 to 100 real quick.
No. The beginning of when they started playing, they were doing great. They were like the best. Then all of a sudden, like they just started to slowly decline, and there was like spikes because of they would get those random wins, and then they started to become more and more inconsistent. I think that Seoul's it's going on a further decline.
I don't think that's true. I think they have so much firepower. I just think some days their player. I think here's a real hot take. I think their team might be some prima donnas, and they have to get up for a match like what Baby Bay used to be. Like he had to be excited for a match to do well. I think that's this entire team. Because when they're excited, it seems like nobody can beat them. And then when they're not, like, Boston can beat them.
They're not excited for a lot of their matches, it seems.
I just think so. Whenever they see, like, oh, who do we have next week? And they see Shanghai, they're just like,
no, we can't win.
Damn. Yeah, let's just lose. We should just lose.
Oh,
and then they
shucks.
just, like, they have the, you might be right. They might just have the loser mentality. Like, they have a hard opponent, and then they just can't win a single game.
Because I know the first time we
did he just
saw Shanghai
Oh, yeah.
we were really hyped and we're like, dude, they're gonna be awesome or whatever. Like this is gonna be a legendary fight. And then Shanghai. I'm like,
I think we should move off of this because you froze trying to talk about it. And
it's
that's
Blizzard. When you talk about Seoul, you become inconsistent. Like your internet.
That's what happens when you talk
Oh
about
my
yeah, like that.
That's
I'm
why
not even
I'm
really
not
surprised about this
hoodie.
next. I'm not even surprised about this next matchup. Like I wish they would have won one game, but Paris is a better team than them.
It's good. I'm glad that Paris took the dub on this one. I didn't have a doubt that they were going to win. I could see LA taking a map off of Paris, especially because they took a game 5 against Fusion. But 3-0, that's a really dominant performance, and you know that's good stuff from Paris. We just need to keep this momentum going.
Honestly, it's kind of disappointing for LAG. Like they should have taken the game.
At least a game, especially with the Philly performance.
Yeah, they should have taken the game. Like they're good enough to take a game or two off of Paris.
Okay, so this is what
I'm sorry, go ahead. I've cut you off twice.
Okay, so this
and one last thing.
I just wanted to mention, because we said wait for it. So does this mean Paris is better than Fusion?
I think so. I think they have been for the last couple of weeks.
Yes, no.
I don't think it's by like a huge margin. It'll definitely go the distance if they go against each other again. But I think Paris is better than Fusion.
No, I don't think so.
What? Why?
Because I think in a tournament setting, like any tournament setting, if you pin them against each other, I think Paris is losing.
But what about the part where they won in the last tournament setting?
But they didn't play against each other.
I'm sorry?
I can't remember that far back.
It was Philly Paris, because I remember because there's EQO on Philly. It was Philly Paris in the finals in the Summer Showdown.
Oh, damn. Okay, you're right.
So regardless, it doesn't.
I could not remember who went to the finals.
Trust me, I remember that. I watched that live.
Regardless, I think if that was to be replayed, so yeah, Paris can win a game. I'm not saying they can't. They're a good team. I'm saying if you played that game 10 times, Philly would win that 8 times.
I completely disagree to that.
Well, you can disagree all you want. I think it will play that way in the next tournament.
I personally think Paris has gotten the edge just slightly, but because whenever I really still do like Philly, but like seeing them lose against like San Francisco whenever they did play a couple weeks ago, and then also seeing
a good team now.
Oh yeah, they're a great team, but then also seeing Philly also losing to Paris. I mean, I think just Paris has a slight edge over them. I'm not saying they would, get a 3-0 kind of sweep or anything like that.
No, not at all. But it's definitely like a game 5 situation. It can go either way, but I see Paris winning.
And I think Philly wins that majority of the time. That's my argument. I think it's a close game, but I think Philly majority of the time would bring it out.
And mine's the complete opposite, but
I think Paris has a difficult time on long games, honestly. I think if it is an extended series, they have issues.
I don't know. I could see that, but I also see it the opposite way due to I'm going to bring up the Summer Showdown again. They went from day 1 all the way to the end of the series. The very last map went the distance against Philly, and half of the team was sick or running on fumes, and they still beat Philly. Now, granted, that's tournament. There's going to be a lot more hype to it than like a regular season match, but
they also had an okay run, right? But I don't know. I think there's other teams that had a more difficult run to the finals than them.
Also, Paris did have to go against San Fran, if
Yes.
I'm correct. I did
The match
okay.
before they went against San Fran.
Okay, so I still do think Paris has a slight edge over Philadelphia, but that's for you guys to talk about in the comments.
In the comments.
Yeah, a little hot take right there. But let's finish this up real quick. Philadelphia.
I was about to say, this is not a match that you need to talk about because we all know who's better here.
Okay,
Toronto
we basically
should've-
saw that. Yeah, we talked about this. That would be a little revenge for Toronto, but no, Philadelphia punched them
Right
in the
their
face. And yeah, I'm sorry, Toronto. Everyone was trying to hype you up for a revenge story. It didn't happen. I knew Philadelphia was just going to beat you up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was. Everyone knew this was going to be a bloodbath.
I was
But
hoping not.
Let's just put the cherry on top of this video right
Don't
here.
you do it. Don't you do it.
The game we have been expecting. No
Don't-
wonder they saved
don't
it
do
for
it.
last.
Don't do it. man.
Obviously,
Don't you do it.
Houston getting spanked by Washington Justice. We obviously saw Washington already lose against Florida this week and in a 3-0 fashion. So we already knew Washington was like down the tank. But come on, Houston, I was even rooting for you that you guys should have taken care of Washington and you just do this. I don't know what you guys are doing. You know,
Remember, someone in this group picked Houston to be a top 10 team by the end of the year.
oh yeah. Yep.
Someone also owns merchandise from this team. Oh man, they're what, the second worst team? Third?
I would give them third, maybe. I think they can go up against Vancouver.
See, even the fact that you have to question it.
But yeah, it was like Vancouver, maybe. I don't know.
think they can beat Washington. I think they have some really. The thing about Houston is, I think they have some really sick matchups against the bottom teams, like the bottom 5 teams. I think they could beat most of them, not because they're better, but because they have more like firepower. Their DPS core is like hard to deal with. Even for top teams, it can kind of be difficult to deal with. But they have nothing else. No coaching staff. Their tanks are garbage. Their healers are pretty garbage.
It's poor. Yes. And we all know how Captain's just feels about Houston's tanks, especially a specific player. Any comments on
Bleep
that?
you, freaking Muma. Bleep you.
You know what's so sad? Wasn't he on the top team last year?
Yep. No, he's been on Houston
He
the
said,
whole
"Yep,
time.
no."
Okay.
He said, "Yep,
Oh,
no."
has he? I thought
Yeah,
he was
he's
on
been
the
on
top
Houston
team
the
last year.
whole time.
Well,
So all he's
never
known
been
is
on top team.
losing. So there's that.
Can you really blame them for losing? Because that's all they know how to do. So
I'm gonna
That's
go
their
finish
job.
Senpaku.
Yeah. Well, see, that's why your cam's off, so we don't have to see it.
oh,
Oh,
the PG-13 rating.
yeah, we couldn't afford like the censor bar, so we just told him to take off the camera. We
It
can't
was too
afford
much editing.
exactly. So that was week 25. I believe it's 25.
Yes.
Yeah, 25. Results right there. Can't wait for week 26. I think it's gonna be pretty spicy. But yeah, just leave in the comments what you guys thought about week 25. Even talk about also who you think is better, Paris or Philadelphia. Would love to hear what you guys have to say about that. But I am your new host, Novaverse, followed by JT, and probably on the other end, a dead Captain Zeus. And yeah, we'll catch you guys later. Oh, he's still alive. Never mind.